Susie.
Greetings.
Meister,
Greetings. Nobody ever calls me that. It's like Susie Butler doesn't exist. She sells like Tupperware somewhere.
Susie Butler. She would sell Tupperware. She definitely owns that taco tray that I have. For sure. She's got it in like a cute turquoise color, though.
Yeah, she's a real cute mom type.
Oh, my God. Definitely wears an apron, but like has different ones for different seasons. God, I love her, too.
Show towels.
Show towels. She would get me.
This is episode 345. Oh, you probably like that, 345.
Oh, you know, I do.
Is that
I do
all right
like
with
that.
you?
I love when it comes up on the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Love it.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Sarah, hi. I love
Hey.
you. What are you doing?
Oh,
What's
just
going
drinking
on?
wine.
Me too. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Clinky clink.
I'm just going to take a sip. Somebody messaged me the other day and was like, Susie, you're not being very secretive about your snacking anymore.
Right. You're just like, whatevs.
I know. I don't know if I've just given up or if it's more just I feel like we're talking to our friends so I can just be me.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And guess what? When, we made Medium's list of top podcasts to help you unwind after a hard day of work,
Yeah.
nowhere did they say, oh, but they eat.
Yeah, right.
So whatevs.
Can it?
Can it?
No, but the person that wrote me was like having fun with it. She was being mean.
Of
I haven't
course.
gotten any mean messages in like a week or so. It's been great.
Oh my gosh. That is lovely. You're just putting out good vibes in the universe.
Do you think that's what happened?
I think maybe.
I thought the opposite, that people were like, oh, fuck it. Like, she's like useless.
Oh my God. Maybe we've just reached that tipping point where they're like, yeah, they're not going to change.
Well, remember that lady that said that she would feel really bad about it if her mom talked about her the way I talk about Lincoln on
right,
Instagram?
right.
That was
Oh, my
as
goodness.
close to I've gotten to hate mail this week.
Oh, that wasn't even bad. But you know what? She just doesn't get it. And also, you're like setting him up to be hilarious when he's older.
Yeah, come on. This kid has too much attention and is showered with love and affection. I need to
Yeah.
bring him down a peg every once in a while.
I know. I get heck. I let him win at the fair the other day, and I almost didn't. And then I was like, and the best was that, Susie, you looked at me, and you were like,
Oh, my God.
was that hard for you?
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing, when you gave me the eye, and I was like, what about, because I was winning, and then like
Yes.
this moment like crossed over me where I was like, what the hell are you doing? He's a child. You
Yeah,
don't want
but I was really
a stuffed
surprised.
cupcake. But, because I think I'm through I'm in a new place, Suze.
Oh my God. Okay, you've made progress in the competitive department.
Yeah, because you asked me about that. I feel like we've changed the subject somehow. We were like, look what I did. I derailed our train. We were talking about people saying nice things to you.
No, I'm into this. I like it because
Yes.
I was like genuinely shocked because you're so competitive, like ridiculous. And that's saying something because I'm usually the obnoxious one. But Sarah really takes it way further than me.
Totally unnecessary.
But I watched you let him win and I was like, oh my God, she's evolved.
I think I really do. I mean, I am noticing a lot of things in this past year, I would say, where I'm just like, I don't do that anymore, or don't feel the need to do that. A lot of it's like center of attention stuff.
Yes.
A lot of it's like how much I know about something. Or like chiming in when I know the answer, even though it's out of context or whatevs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a moment where it was like the moment where I decided, or I kind of got like a slap on the wrist by the universe, and it was like, oh, this is why you should just never do that again. Because I had that thought of, should I say something? And then I said, you don't really need to. But then I'm like, just do it, whatever. So here's the situation. There's a table that was at this bar in Hermosa Beach, like this beachy area. And there's this outside table. It's a Sunday. And there's like this group of like college kids who are talking about what are those things called? The things that mnemonic devices to help you remember stuff. And they started singing the song about the Pythagorean theorem, the x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 ac all over. And then they said 2a. And I was like, I think it's 2b. And I was like, don't do it. But I was like, you got to do it. And I was like, actually, it's 2B. And then I was like, oh, fuck. And then they continued their conversation. And then I got that thing in my pit of my stomach that was like, wait, is it? And then I looked it up, and they were right, and I was wrong. So I'm an idiot for like a million reasons. And then I was like, I can't let this go, because now I have to like. So then I was like, I leaned over after like 10 minutes. I was like, you know what? Actually, you guys were right. And one girl at the table goes, we would have never even known.
Oh.
And I was like, but she almost said it snarky, like millennial, like, we don't give a fuck about that. And it was like, it really did. But they were real nice. They were just like, oh, okay. And they didn't even know what I was referring to, that like the conversation had. And this was one of those things where I'm like, wow, I spent the last 10 minutes having a mini, like, panic attack. Like, inside there was a war going on, like a whole thing happening internally.
Right.
And these guys are just having a good old time, and they don't care at all.
Yes.
And then
that's
it
usually
taught
true.
me a big old lesson of like, just who gives a fuck? And if you do want to if what you're trying to do, Sarah, is participate in their conversation and be included, then say something like, oh yeah, that song worked for me too. I love that you guys know it.
Yeah.
Not try to one-up them or put them down by showing how much you know. And then I was like, okay, lesson learned. Thank you, universe, learning all these things. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh my gosh, you're a big girl.
I know.
The time that I can recall where I did that same thing, where I was like so adamant that I was correct and the other person was wrong, happened to be about the theme song for Perfect Strangers.
Oh, stop. Stop.
And he sang the song, which is Standing Tall on the Wings, whatever. And he was like, oh, yeah, it's Perfect Strangers. I'm like, no, it isn't. And
God, that's the Penny Hill you're dying on. Yeah.
I was. And I was certain. And I'm like, look, I have CDs, several, with only theme songs on them. I am a theme song expert. You are wrong, and I was wrong.
God, Suze, that's a funny one, because and the reason why it sticks out in your mind is because it's something that you pride yourself on knowing.
Yes.
And I'm like, mnemonic devices, things to remember, smart brainy stuff. This is my wheelhouse. I have to say something. This is my bread and butter. And then of course you have to say something, because you're like, I own CDs, and she does own CDs. I have listened to them, and it's not like she owns them like ironically.
No.
Like, you can come over and they'll be on.
I love them.
Yes. And it's like, oh yeah, this is just the theme song to, whatevs.
Wings.
Yes. Your new favorite show.
Yeah.
God, that's funny as hell, Suze.
See, we're pathetic, but we're learning.
No.
We're
No. Pathetic. Get out of here with that negative self-talk. We just went over this.
I'm sorry. All right. Anyway, I get what you're saying, and I think we're evolving. We are. Pat ourselves on the back for that. Okay, so one thing that I am competitive about, admittedly, is pretty much everything. And that includes whether I feel fit and strong. I should really do those competitions, really. At any rate.
God, that would be really cool. I support you in this.
And people have been asking us how we stay so fit.
They've been asking you.
And the answer is Open Fit. Are you looking for some fitspiration? If you are, you need to try it. It's like the Netflix of workout videos. So whatever you're in the mood for that day, you can try out. They have Extend Bar, which is just so great because a lot of the bar gyms are so expensive, and this is so affordable, and you can do it right in your house or wherever you are, because you can do it on your iPad or your phone or tablet, blah, 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 all that stuff. So you don't have to go to the gym, which I will never do. I'm not a gym person.
Me either.
Yeah. So this is a better fit for us. They have all kinds of videos that will suit you, whatever you're in the mood for. Whether you want to lose weight or just get more energy, feel stronger, OpenFit has changed the way I work out. And texting our code BRAINCANDY to 303030, you can join me on a fitness journey personalized just for you. Right now, during the OpenFit 30-day challenge, our listeners get a special extended 30-day free trial membership to OpenFit when you text Brain Candy to 303030. You'll get full access to OpenFit, all the workouts, nutrition information, totally free. Again, just text Brain Candy to 303030. Standard message and data rates may apply. All right, Sarah, what's new?
Oh man, Suze, and I feel like it's due time that I share like with my Brain Candy Brainiacs more about my own evolution.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'm sure you guys have noticed. You're like, wow, Sarah's Instagram is looking really, what is the word? I could use?
Different.
Different? Yeah, like less people on there, one person in particular. And you guys are probably like, where's Landon? And she hasn't been talking about him. And that's because we're going to get a divorce, or we're getting one, going through the whole process.
Yes.
In this whole evolution of myself, I kind of like learned what I want and what, you know, you got to like follow what your soul says is like your path.
Yes, you
And
do.
Two people can have like, be like really good, but not good, like not a good fit.
Yes. And
You know?
it should never feel like a life sentence. I always,
Right.
when I was going through a divorce, that was what I kept saying to myself. Like, you should not feel like you're in a life sentence with somebody. And
Like,
if it
not
gets
like
to
yourself,
that point,
yeah.
Yeah, if it gets to that point where you're like, this is not true to me, you got to hit the road, man.
Yeah, and it felt like every day I was moving a little bit away from my, like, who I am, you know?
Yeah.
And I would come on this podcast and I'd totally be me.
Yeah.
And I'd like be, you know, and I feel like embraced for who I am on here. And then I would go home and I would be like, oh, I got to be this other version of myself. Or, you know, and that's nobody's fault. It's just kind of
Yeah.
what happens over time. And especially when you think like, I think about how old I was when we got together and where I was in my life, like on reality TV and, you
Yeah.
know, like 24, like that's young.
my
And where I
God.
am now,
Yeah.
right.
24
24-year-old me would have shouted out at that other table and wouldn't have even looked up to see if she were wrong. Been like, "They're those idiots."
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, you're just changing in a lot of ways. And I do think, you know, when you graduate from a program, a graduate program in your case, you know, things sort of settle down and then you get to look at your life. I always
Yep.
had that experience when I would go on a challenge on MTV because I would be like,
Yes.
oh, I have nothing to do but think about my life. And that's when I made a lot of really big decisions about my future. So I think it's similar in that sense. Like the dust settled on your chaos of your professional life. And then you're like, oh, wait, let me look at this other stuff. Okay, maybe it's time to change things up. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And for me, it was that trip that we went on where I got, you know, it was such a wonderful trip for so many reasons. And it really
The road
allowed me
trip.
to be, the road trip, to be reflective and to be away. Like I was off all, you know, social media and the internet and all that. And I was just reading a lot. And I read that book Wild. And I was like, yep, I got to do it. When you know, you know.
Isn't
And
it
it's like,
weird
yeah.
how when you know, you know?
Yeah, and then I knew once, yeah, it really was. And then it felt more like I was living my truth. And I'm like, I just have to tell him that I love him, but I'm just not in love with him,
Man.
you know, and it's real hard to do. And like, you know, it's kind of like a palm tree and an oak tree. Like they're both strong trees, but if you put them next to each other, one's not going to survive.
You know, it's interesting listening to you talk because when I was going through a divorce, I kept thinking about how, like, it's gut-wrenching and horrific, even when it's under the best circumstances, like you're still civil and all that stuff, you don't have any kids. It's
Yeah.
still gut-wrenching.
Oh, yeah.
And when you were just describing it, I forget the phrase that you used, but it was sort of like, yeah, so, you know, you talk about it in bullet points, but it doesn't reflect how insanely like difficult it is and how
my God.
like the rug is pulled out from under you.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's and I have a whole new level of respect for, you know, men and women who have gone through this, you know, but especially whoever was not in a position to have awareness
Oh, my
about
God.
finances. You
Right.
know, you think it's like such a great thing to be able to be like, oh yeah, they'll take care of all that until something like this happens, or you have to like all of a sudden, you know, and then that made me think, like, what if Landon, you know, God forbid, we stayed together and something happened to him where I had to take over. I wouldn't have even had all the information to be able to do that. It's not even, it doesn't even seem like a smart idea for a family to, when they're staying together, for people to be in the dark about this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I just, you know, that's been really challenging to kind of like relearn all that. And then you spend like 8 years not doing all that stuff. And it's like, oh crap, what do I need to do? Like, what do? You know, so yeah, shout out to all the single ladies out there.
Well, funnily enough, we've gotten so many emails and messages over the years about people who we inspired to leave their crappy situations.
I know. I've read a lot recently, and I'm like, oh, and I already knew that this is where this was going, and I was like, oh, just wait.
Yeah. And then, you know, sometimes it applies to us as well.
Yeah, you are so right, Suze. I really do feel like the way that I got to compare who I was and my true self in certain groups or in certain arenas or areas of my life with how I am in other places really helped me see. I'm like, wow, I want more of that. Like school, being in that grad program was so helpful. And I was like, I think I can like do like awesome shit. I need to like be able to do this awesome shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, and not to say that I wasn't allowed to do that or anything, but it's just like, it's, you know, you got to kind of, it's hard to have two people who are both, I don't know, I almost think of like, you're like pulling in opposite directions, but both towards this big, great prize. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're both deserving of the things that you desire. Yeah.
Totally. You know? And it's like, I just need a relationship that has a little bit different of, like, the values that I hold and the things that I want in my relationship, like, at the end of the day that are important to me, like my love languages, if you will, are just different. And they're not any less or more valuable or important. And I feel like that you get to a certain age in your life where you kind of go like, what is the rest of my life going to look like? And what kind of things do I want my home filled with? Whether that's, you know, emotional and material, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever you value, you have to make sure you have created an environment where those things can thrive.
You know, and your home really inspired me in so many ways, and the love between you and Adam, and just how you guys really see each other and are a team in such a good way, where it really is a partnership, and it really is, you know.
Well, like, you know what? You know, I tell him he's my favorite husband, and, so
great.
You know what? I feel like you're not really a grown up until you get your starter marriage out of the way.
Yeah, glad I did it. And you know, so many wonderful things that you know.
Yes.
But you know, it's time to like focus on. Yeah, I gotta do me, man. I'm too hippity dippity. That's it. I was like, listen. I need like some patchouli. And like, maybe I just don't want to shave my legs for the whole summer. What I do. Let's not go crazy here.
Yeah, you want to be a little witchy woman.
I got to be a little witchy, you know?
Here's what I know.
I need somebody who's going to like embrace it, you know, and like not roll their eyes.
You've been through a lot this year. You had a miscarriage. You've done grad school. You graduated. Now you're going through a divorce. And I just hope you know, I, of course, support you, and I am sure the Brainiacs do too, and you will get an outpouring of love and affection, and I'm sure that will make all the difference. So
it will. I know they will. And now you guys get to come with me on this insane journey that is Sarah 2.0, because, I mean, you thought my stories were good when I was just telling you marriage stories. Like, I'm going to be dating people, like, out in the world, talking to other humans.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be great. I'm going to have so many
going to be nuts.
stories to tell you.
I mean, and my top, first of all, Susie, you're so sweet, and thank you. And you've been the best support through this whole thing. And now you guys know why I was staying at Susie's house, and not just because I love her cat. And somebody needed to watch that thing, but also because I needed somewhere to live for a bit.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, it is going to be really funny, I'm sure. I'll take any and all advice from anybody who's going to give it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have some advice.
You know. Oh, please. Yes.
The first step to single Sarah is, and I'm not saying you should rush it.
Okay.
You know, take your time.
Yeah.
But whenever you're ready, I recommend Omax O-Shot.
Why are we not rushing this? What what's the holdup?
I mean, whenever you're ready, today, next year, whatever.
Self-love is good too.
True. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't use Omax O-Shot with your own fingers or whatever products you want to. It's a CBD arousal oil that gets rave reviews from us and our listeners. It contains 8 natural botanicals that provide sensory tingling and promote the effects of stimulation, circulation, arousal, lubrication, desire, blah, 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 but without the weirdness. And it tastes great and smells great, which to me is like the key. Yep. You just throw a little bit on there and tingling sensation will ignite immediately and continue for 30 to 60 minutes. Hello. Whether you're single or looking to spice things up in your relationship with a more satisfying sexual experience, every woman can benefit from a more enjoyable orgasm experience. Omax's O-Shot comes to the rescue and provides heightened sexual sensations, which give you the instant and long-lasting satisfaction you've been looking for. And it's 100% safe and natural. Remember, go to omaxhealth.com today and enter code BRAINCANDY to take advantage of the incredible savings. That's omaxhealth.com and enter code BRAINCANDY to get 20% off O-Shot and all Omax products site-wide. Yes, I'm going to be enjoying your new life. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll live through you.
Yes. Finding a new place, getting all moved in.
Yeah.
Doing the whole thing.
You have to keep us posted as you wish. Whatever you want to share, you just let us know.
I will share that this is adorable. I always feel like, oh my gosh, well, the universe just gave me podcast material right here. I mean, I moved into a cute little duplex, and I live above a couple, or a guy who rents it. His name is Ken. He's in his probably like 50s, late 50s, early 60s. And his girlfriend is named Barbie. It's like the cutest thing. Ken and Barbie who live downstairs. Come on.
I mean, it's the best.
It's adorable.
Sarah lives
and they're
by
like
Ken
the
and
nicest
Barbie.
people.
Damn
Come
it.
on.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, and they're all like tattooed and like cool, and he's like a rock and roll guy with like cool old cars.
Yeah, that
pretty
gave
awesome.
me a good feeling about your new place.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I haven't seen this joint yet.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to share it with you.
What's going on in there?
Well, this is fun. Like, so when I went to go check the place out, I was with my friend who's a real estate agent, so he had the access to with like the little key and everything. But there were certain places in the house that were locked that I couldn't see, like the door to the garage and everything. So I had no idea that I had a 2-car garage with laundry hookups with this beautiful storage that's like all shelved. No idea.
Nice.
I was already sold on the place. So when I moved in, there were a bunch of these surprises that I didn't even know about. I didn't even explore far enough into the backyard to see that I got a freaking jacuzzi.
Oh my God.
And then and it works.
That is
and like
so
I moved
exciting.
the day I moved in, they gave me the keys. They were like, yeah, and so like, for your first month, like just, we'll take care of the water bill and like, you pay electrical, whatever. And then like, if you want to run and like see what the numbers are. And then if you want to run the spa, just like run it for, like try it for a day and then see what, how it is after with the electrical bill or whatever. And I was like, I'm sorry, come again. Did you say spa? I was like, I don't care how much it costs. Whatevs.
Right. Say no more.
Yeah. I
And,
mean, my monthly moonlight bath is now going to be outside underneath the stars in my own little jacuzzi.
Well, and this is just what I've been looking for. I need something to break up my bath and pool routine.
Oh.
I need somewhere else to submerge my body.
I got a jacuzzi for you. There you go.
I mean, it's good times. Just ask anyone that's ever been on The Real World. Do they still have those on the
Oh
show?
my God, it's so gross. We've talked here about the one in the Czech Republic that did not have, that was freestanding and was just, you filled it with water and did not have a circulating system, and what color the water was the next day.
Have you ever gotten into an above ground pool and people put like a thing by the ladder that you dip your feet into to like get grass off and stuff?
Suze, I've never gotten into above ground pool. End of sentence.
Oh, because you're not white trash like me.
I just live in Southern California where we just have a lot of below ground ones.
Oh my God. Well,
so funny to
above
me.
ground pools are a white trash tradition. And in order to prevent like excessive grossness, people put these like buckets at the foot of the ladder so that when you step in, it gets all the crud off your feet. Anyway, my point is, I feel like your hot tub in wherever you said is essentially that bucket.
It is. You are 100%. Also, if you use that bucket to pee into, too. That was the biggest problem.
What?
Because everybody's I know, this is my favorite thing about doing this many episodes.
I know. I forget everything.
We definitely, I'm sure.
I just don't remember the pee part.
Right. Well, because you probably blocked it from your memory, and rightfully so. Because this spa is available as we're like drinking and hanging out. It's the one where Laurel was yelling at Big Easy.
Oh, yeah.
And we were all in there for hours.
Nope.
And
oh, yeah, and you
very
said
few
nobody
people
got out.
Very few.
Yeah, it came back to me just then.
Very few. So I think people were assuming it was like chlorinated and like Riggs one, but it was not Riggs.
It makes me really happy that Lincoln still gets out of our pool to go to the bathroom.
I love that.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he doesn't know that a lot of kids just go.
Do not let him play water polo.
Oh, gross. You guys just go for it?
And then like we share it with each other. like
you
Shay,
are
like,
lying.
I'm just gonna go over here and pee. Like,
okay.
Yeah, we did that a lot.
And
Nobody
you don't
cares.
mind.
I mean, I didn't.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, I will say there was an age when I was an adult. I mean, not an adult. Like I was like 22 when I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get out of the bathtub to go pee or like whatever, not just like drain the water. You know? Like,
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna step
time.
out. It's time in my adult life to do that.
Yeah, I can't wait to take a dip in that hot tub with you. So invite me over, would you?
Oh my gosh, come over anytime.
I told Sarah I'm going to get her a housewarming present of just a box of Ritz crackers because it's what she loves more than
Yep,
anything.
it's so true. I went over to Susie's just the other day and I said, Suze, I moved in and guess what I treated myself to on my first night? A box of Ritz crackers.
It was one of those big ones, right? It was like from
Family
Costco
size.
or something.
Yep.
Family
No big deal. But not the whole box. I didn't eat the whole thing. I
you're
ate
not an
one
animal.
sleeve. I just one entire sleeve. But over the course of like an afternoon and an evening. So it was like spread out. But
a whole
also
sleeve?
Suze, I don't want to hear your
I don't
judgy.
judge. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Like I said, spread out over hours. If I said I drank a whole bottle of wine, you would be less shocked.
Yeah, and also not judging of that.
I can't take it. So, but as I was eating these crackers and finishing off an entire sleeve, I thought about you and this
Cute.
conversation right now that I knew we were going to have. And I thought to myself, could I eat an entire box of Ritz crackers?
No, you can't.
I couldn't. I decided I could not because
Yeah.
the last 4 were I didn't need to eat. And that was just one sleeve, again, over the course of many hours.
I would argue that it's the salt that would prevent it,
Yeah.
not the cracker.
Oh my God. And the next day, I was wearing a ring and I couldn't get the ring off. I had to it hurt. It physically hurt.
What's that called where you...
Water retention?
Yes,
Like,
thank you.
Bloated?
Yeah, water retention.
Yeah, I was retaining water. Yeah, definitely 100% that was what was happening.
Oh my God. You know what?
funny?
I'm proud of you.
Oh, for which part? Eating the whole sleeve? Or
Yeah,
what?
I am. I've changed my position.
Oh, good. Thanks. I just thought, it's my first night here.
Yeah.
I don't have any food in the fridge, but I do have some Ritz crackers. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Wait till I teach you my recipe for Ritz cracker cheese jalapeno scenario. You will never be the same.
Oh,
That's
I love a
another
recipe
white
with
trash
like only 3
tradition.
ingredients too.
Right.
It's like my favorite kind. I'm like, yep, that's it. That's a recipe. That counts.
Like I try to eat, elevated, nice foods, but the white trash thing is it runs deep, like mac and cheese and Ritz crackers, all that stuff.
Suze, why you call me out? That's the food I had in
I
mind
know
too.
it's so good.
Just because I had a box, and once again, I didn't go to the grocery store. I was eating whatever was in my pantry. I might just eat a can of jalapenos next.
This reminds me of a story I want to tell you about candy. But
Oh.
before I do, I want to say that I read the story in the New Yorker, and it's so cute. And I have to tell you, you got to subscribe to the New Yorker.
Yes.
I love them. They have the
if
best
only
writing.
for the tote.
Right. Even if it really were just for the tote, that would be enough. But that's the best thing is that you get the most amazing writing in America today. The best writers in the world work for them. And they have something for everyone. So it's arts, fiction, humor, cartoons, environment, pop culture, whatever. It's not just like highfalutin ivory tower type stuff.
But if you like want to pretend that it is, that's fine too. Whatevs.
Yeah, if you want to be
Like tell all
a
your
smug-
other friends who like, yeah, totally. That's why I get the
support
tote.
that. Yeah, and they have this awesome deal for you guys. Best deal. Get 12 weeks of the New Yorker for just $6, plus that tote Sarah's bragging about. Go to newyorker.com /brain candy, and then our listeners save at 50% when they enter brain candy. So you get those 12 weeks of the New Yorker for $6. You get the digital access and all that.
digital one.
It's so good. And they'll send you the hard copy, and then you get the tote for $6. What do you want from me, for Christ's sake?
Come on now, $6.
But this
silly.
article, that's silly. This article was called How to Eat Candy Like a Swedish Person. And I was in immediately, like, what are you talking about?
Okay.
I mean, I knew
How
they had the
to eat
fish,
candy
Swedish
like-
fish.
They're big on chocolate.
I think they're big on gummies, too, because you know how they have Swedish fish?
Oh, they do. I'm not a big fan.
Me neither.
They don't
I
taste
was.
like anything.
I don't agree with you.
They're like, and it's like a weird gummy.
You think?
It's different. Yeah, I feel like the text, it's like, how do I describe it? It's like less gelatinous, more dense. Less jello, like less in the jello. Like a gummy, if you were like on a
it's
scale.
too hard for you.
It would be like jello on one end
Yeah.
and like, I don't know, something else that like.
Taffy.
Taffy! Yes! God, she's so good. Taffy on the other end. Then gummies would come first. Gummy bears would come first.
Yeah,
like
they're
the clear
soft.
kind without any of the, no sour kind.
Yeah.
Then it would be like the sour with the sugar. Then it would be something else. And then it would be Swedish fish.
Yes.
And then it would be.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Then now and laters, then taffy.
Now and laters, are those the ones that are licorice flavored?
No, those are the ones that like you better have a dentist friend if you're gonna eat those because if they're a little
What
bit
flavor
hard,
are they?
they're
Fruit.
they're fruit.
Yeah. Okay,
they're
got
fruit flavored and they're really sticky and like you can't bite them. I don't know what the hell you're supposed to do. You're basically supposed to warm them in your mouth
Yeah.
to get them to a temperature then which you can chew them.
I
I don't
was
know the
thinking
proper
of-
eating technique. I used to love them, but you know, no cavities over here. Still going strong.
Zero
Yep.
cavities.
Zero cavity. I will say that is one of the things that I will forever brag about.
That is something to really pride yourself on.
I think so too. I think at 33 to have no cavities, knock on wood, I am good. The rest of my life, total mess.
Wait.
But my teeth,
Perfect.
perfect.
Oh, God. Okay. Let me stay focused.
I'm getting
'cause
regular
you're-
checkups too, so.
You're tickling me, and this is starting
Sorry.
to feel like we're not recording.
We're totally off topic. Let's go back to the gummies. You had a story about the Swedes and they're eating candy. That's what we started talking about here. I'm
So
awful.
here's what's funny to me. So evidently, they love candy, whatever, but they started to feel, I don't know if you would say guilty or just became aware of how bad eating candy can be. So that they came up with this tradition in Sweden of every Saturday you can eat as much as you want.
How much are plane tickets to Sweden?
Where like all the other days of the week you're supposed to abstain, but on
Dude.
Saturday they have something called Lördagsgodis, which means Saturday candy. And they all go to these corner stores with the pick and mix bins of candy, and like depending on what they'll put their kids to bed, for example, and then they'll put a bowl out in front of them and watch movies. You know, like you might do with popcorn.
I love this.
And sometimes they'll be like, we need chocolate mixed with something like gummies, or we need, the various different.
I'm also doing this every Saturday. I just didn't know there was a name for it.
We didn't know we're being
just
Swedish.
called it Saturday.
We called it
Yeah.
self-care.
Right. I love this.
Yeah, so sometimes they'll get chocolate, sometimes they'll do fruity surprises mixed in. And I just think this is really fun. They claim that it's healthier than the American candy because they don't have like corn syrup, gluten,
Oh, it totally
and
is.
stuff like that.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, sugar's sugar, but it's better probably than the, fake stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, it's so good. In Norway, when you go hiking, it is customary, they told me that, so I'm just going to go ahead and believe it because I like this story, that when you get to the top of the mountain, that's when you, open up your candy bar and eat chocolate.
Wait, say that again?
When you make it to the top of the mountain, you eat your chocolate.
That's
it's like you have
great.
a chocolate break at the top. So when we made it at the top, they're like, "Oh, here you go," and because it's sugar, you need it to I don't know whatevs. But it was so good, and let me tell you, chocolate tastes way better after you've climbed mountains. So I get it in Sweden, and
what's your absolute favorite candy
oh my God,
of any kind?
probably I'd probably say the Lion Bar. The one that
Oh,
I
that
think
is
I
so
brought
good.
I brought you and Adam some from some British
Oh,
shop.
yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
It's a candy bar you can only get in England, but it's got okay. So here, let's break it down. It's got a crispy rice wafer, kind of like the stuff that's in the Crunch bars, but if you were to put them all together, more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's got some caramel, I believe.
Yes.
And then it's got some chocolate coating on the outside. And there might be another layer in there too.
Yeah, is there
But
a
it's-
nougat?
I don't know if it's new. It's something else. There might be something else with some nut, something in there. I don't know. Maybe some peanuts on the outside. Either way, it's basically like one of those self-serve ice cream places where you can put all the toppings that you want on your ice cream in a candy bar. Because that's what I want. I like diversity in the ingredients.
It's
I don't
actually
yeah.
wafer, caramel, crisp cereal, and milk chocolate.
Okay,
Yeah.
wafer. That's it. I like that. That gives me, you got the crunch, you got everything you need. Yes.
Everything you need. It says on their Wikipedia that in some areas it was known as the Big Cat until the late 90s. And wait, there was something else that was funny. Oh, they had a Lion Bar cereal, which I am into that idea.
Oh my God, I can remember it. It's like if I even say it, then I can taste it. And oh gosh, I might have to go to the grocery store on my way home from your house. The Rice Krispie Treat cereal
Yes.
was the greatest stuff that ever existed in the culinary world. To this day, I'll put my name on it.
Culinary world.
Whoever invented that. Damn, that was good shit.
Wait, why are you speaking in the past tense?
Because I don't think it exists anymore. They were
What?
like, no, that's crazy. We cannot get them.
This is not allowable. Are you
Yes.
serious? They discontinued Rice Krispies cereal?
I don't know. Oh, either that or one of two things has happened. Either they've discontinued it, or I know how dangerous it is for me that I can't even go down
I think
that road.
that's what's happening. Yeah.
I don't even look at it anymore. I pretend like it's not there. So now I'm blind to it. Oh, now I have to look this up.
I know.
Oh my God, I'm salivating over it.
You just love it.
I do.
And
it's so
did
good.
you like it only in Rice Krispie treats?
Yes.
Right. And did they have chocolate as well? Or just the traditional?
No, just traditional. Oh my gosh. You know what they did? They changed the color of the box.
Oh,
And
so
I
that
just
really
don't
tripped you
recognize
up.
it anymore. I must have not seen it, but they totally do. Kellogg's Rice Krispie Treat cereal. Now it's also available in family size. Zeus, let's get it.
Let's get it.
Oh,
'Cause
there's the classic blue box. Got it. I see it.
We're just going to keep buying family size even though you're a single lady now.
Right.
Like, you're just like...
I totally am going to hit you up for the Costco card and be like, look, I just need to get some toilet paper, some paper towels.
My God, for sure.
When you move out and you separate two people, you make two people stuff, one person stuff. Whoa. It is amazing the kind of things that I went to go to the bathroom and I was like, don't have toilet paper. I'm gonna need
Oh
to go buy
my
that.
God, Sarah.
went to go buy. Then I made a run. This was like day number 2. And for the record, I didn't live there. I just moved my stuff in, and then I was still staying at the old house. So it's not like I stayed there overnight and like didn't ever use the bathroom. Like once I actually stayed there, I was like, okay, now I need to supply myself with this. I forgot about that because I already have the Costco size, stash at the other house. And so like also plates, stuff to eat off of,
It's no joke.
Note everything.
You know
little
how you
trash
have,
cans, like stuff that's annoying.
Like
Bath
we
mats.
have bridal showers when you get married. We need a divorce one.
Oh! If there is ever, fuck that marriage. They're
should
fine. They got 2
register.
people. This makes way more sense. Okay, you know what? I'm going to add an Amazon list. I'm going to go ahead and register. I'm going to register for my divorce list because this is shit that I need. I actually have an Amazon list already where in my cart, I've got 10 things on there, including all stuff for the house, paper towel holder, a toilet paper roll holder.
Yeah.
Because I live in a house where there's tile up half the wall, so it doesn't have the attached toilet paper roll, so I have to find an alternative, and the suction cup one didn't work for shit, so I have to do like an attached, like a,
You're wound up today.
I'm really not. It must be the wine.
I love it.
I had
It's so
one
great.
glass. I didn't even have, it was like a half a glass.
Well,
it was just the rest of the bottle, and I didn't even, I'm like,
It suits
I should
you.
have lunch, but whatever. Anywho.
One thing when you're doing all this is
Yes.
you don't want to forget, you need to make sure you have me time, right?
100%. It's
Like we
probably
said.
first important thing on the list,
Yeah,
so I
you
can
need
handle
to
everything else.
Not forget about Sarah and what she needs. And I think the best way you could do that is with Birchbox. Oh, I love Birchbox.
That's such a good idea.
You can just sit down with your Birchbox and get all your beauty samples and all the different grooming stuff. It's so convenient. You can try new products.
Oh, and I'm all about starting fresh, and that may even be with some of the products I use. So,
Yeah, and you can fill out
knows?
this little thing where it's like a profile, and it's so quick and easy, and you just answer a few questions about like your hair type, your preferences, your lifestyle, and then you make a little profile for yourself to curate the box every month so you know that the products you're getting are designed just for you. And then you can try brands like MAC and Tarte and all those yummy,
yeah, I love
wonderful brands that you might not even find at your normal stores because there's so many. It's hard to keep track of them all. And it's a monthly box designed just for you. Send it right to your door. I love being able to try new stuff. And like that me time thing is a big deal. Like what? We don't get to do a lot of stuff. So this is time for yourself. And they have a deal for you guys. If you go to birchbox.com/brain and use promo code BRAIN, you get $5 off your first Birchbox. So go to birchbox.com/brain. You can learn more about it and then use our promo code BRAIN to get $5 off your own monthly box of you time. It's promo code BRAIN, birchbox.com/brain for $5 off. Do it!
I am
Sarah.
I am saying yes to all of that. When I went out and bought new furniture, and they were like, "Would you like to come pick it up, or would you like the delivery and assembly?" And I was like, "Fucking delivery and assembly, yo!" Because this new year, new me.
Yeah.
Not same year, just new me.
Well, Adam always
Or maybe
teases
same
me.
me. Just now, I know what I deserve.
Yeah, and also like what is important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like why do I need to do that when I can put my time towards other things that are just as valuable? And God, the things that I waste money on versus the things that I should be spending it on.
Well, that's the thing. Like Adam teases me because I list all the stuff that I don't want anymore and I try to sell it. And he's like,
Yeah.
you don't need to do that. Like for certain things, you could just get rid of it. And I'm just like, but it makes me happy.
God, we are one and the same in that way.
It isn't
I
about the
can't,
money. I
'cause-
just enjoy it.
I do too.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a little bit about the feeling like you know
Yeah.
like that is one of the things that I've had a real struggle with in this whole setting up a new place for myself. That there's just so much shit out there, like stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much stuff.
So much stuff.
And like, I'm gonna have a garage sale. Is to what I decided to do because I'm like,
God.
I've got all these little, like, stuff that you fill your home with, But if you move
Yeah.
somewhere and it doesn't go, or God forbid, there are painful memory, not painful, but just memories attached to
Yeah.
those, and you don't want to really be looking at that or thinking about that. But they're, they're from like Home Goods or
They're
Pottery
useful,
Barn or whatever.
yeah.
They're not selling for big, but they're not collector's items. But somebody could absolutely pay me $5 and have this beautiful vase that I spent $29 on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I'm going to just do that. I'm going to have so.
Oh my God, that is so fun. And I will be there and I will wear like one of
Oh
those.
my God, Suze! I will
aprons
get
with
you one of
money.
those visors that's like got the
visor.
like the clear. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
in a fanny
yeah.
pack, and I will give you like little stickers for the whatever. Like I
my
feel
God.
like this is where you will really come alive.
I am like Monica Geller for real.
Oh my God, that's right. She did that. Suze, this is great. This is going to be a win for you and me. I'll give you a cut of the proceeds. Take
A
it.
win for you and me.
Yeah.
That reminds me, my son is forcing me to list his various Pokemon cards on
Oh my
eBay.
God,
So
this
if you would
is
like to
great.
bid, Brady6 is my username. BRADYSIX. Okay. Spell out that 6. And he wanted me to tell you guys that. And there's some real bargains on there, 10 cents, whatever.
He showed me all of them.
I took a lot of time.
That's right. Some of them, yeah, real good prices. He's got some real good ones on there. If your kids like them, get them cheap. Get stuff from Suze. There you go. Lincoln, I did your ad.
But see, he's seen me do that, so he thinks that's, what you do
Yeah.
with your old. It's not a bad thing to teach.
It's not a bad thing at all because there are so many things that I mean, that's where I'm getting a lot of my stuff is I go on Craigslist, I go on Letgo, whatever. I type in.
I love it.
Like, for example, I had a corner hutch, like a corner desk at the other house. And it's a Pottery Barn desk. You had the same desk, Suze. This is like a very generic desk that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And it's a modular desk. So I found a listing for a different top. So I can change the top
Oh, that's
and
cool.
make it a long desk instead of a corner desk because it's modular like that. And I was like, oh my God, that $100? Okay, done. Rather than buying a new desk and getting rid of this one.
Yeah, see, I'm into that. It's good for the
Yeah.
planet, too.
It's way good for the planet. I'm all
Yes.
about that. And like old furniture, that stuff is built to last forever.
Yeah, I wish it still were like that.
I know. So it almost seems more cost effective to buy like old furniture, like vintage furniture that's really well made than brand new furniture that's going to not last.
Well, that's for sure. And that's
Right?
part of why we have too much stuff is we buy garbage and then we have to throw it out and buy a new one. I'm not into that.
Right. I know. Yeah, well.
I have a funny story for you.
Oh, I love a funny story.
Okay. I want to know your theory about it. Someone broke into somebody's house. We hear these stories a lot. And, like, you remember, wasn't there one time where she was, like, in the tub eating Cheetos?
Yep. Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, except the person or people broke in, cleaned the whole house.
Oh my God. I was just going to make a joke about how if anybody would like to break into my house and unpack all my stuff, stop
Yeah.
it right now. Continue.
For real. They cleaned everything, including the toilets, and made
Stop.
toilet paper
Stop.
roses on the rolls.
Stop. This is the best. This is my favorite. I'm going to just leave my door unlocked in hopes that this is the break-in I get.
What's your theory?
Oh, this has got to be a viral. This has got to be there's an intention behind this.
Intention.
Yeah, there's like something the other party's getting at, and I don't mean it as just like this is beyond bizarre because that's too. No.
Sarah.
No. It doesn't match. It doesn't line up. Those things do not.
Well, the victim, if we can even
Victim.
call him,
You mean the winner?
the victim winner, his theory was that these people were hired by someone else to clean their home, and they got into the wrong house. And I thought that was a weird theory.
But what time of day did this happen?
Well, I think it was during the day, which makes sense. But
And was there evidence of a break-in?
well, that's what I'm wondering. How did they break in?
Yeah, if the door was unlocked, then
Maybe it was unlocked
it could have been like that. And
because there was no note or anything.
I did. We've cleaned your house.
Right.
What are you
Deal
going to
with
do?
it.
Deal with it, right.
We
What
hate
would
your
that note
Ritz,
even
and
say?
that's it. Yeah.
That's so funny to even think about what that note would say. I can't even come up with something funny.
Right.
It's like impossible to write.
Because it could be that. It could be that it was mistaken identity or whatever. But
Yeah. Or
I-
you just hate Clayton. Like,
I
hate you so
assumed that
much.
it was
You're gonna
somebody
like,
with some sort of mental illness that really,
No.
or OCD that was like,
That's not how it works.
oh, okay.
It's more about the self. It's more like a thing
Yeah.
to self-soothe or protect the self.
Yeah, they
You'd
don't
never
care.
be OCD for somebody else.
okay.
You might
okay.
get feelings of anxiety over watching somebody not conform
But
to
you're not going
your-
to intervene.
No, you wouldn't do it. It doesn't make.
right.
No way. That
Sarah's
is so. But
poking holes
I
in
do
my
hear.
theory.
I do hear that the majority of break-ins happen during the day. So
Wow. Well, that's
They don't
good
happen at
because I
night.
don't want some jackass coming in here in the nighttime. I don't have time
yeah,
for
nobody's
that.
doing. I don't think they're not doing that.
I need my sleep.
Yeah.
All right.
And
well,
also, like I said, I checked your house after locking myself out of it. You're good.
my God.
Nobody's getting in there. It's Fort Knox.
I mean, they absolutely could if they wanted to break a window.
Why are you trying to like
Oh.
convince people to break it? This is not how that you're supposed to be like. Yeah, it is very tough.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you can break in if you want. There are ways.
Let me describe it.
Oh
Shall
my
I draw
god!
up a
Also,
map?
now that you mention that, now that you say that, I'm fucking pissed because sorry, Linda. It probably would have been cheaper for me to replace the window.
Oh no! Which
Don't you
one?
think?
You think?
Any of them. How much
Oh,
does a broken
God.
window cost?
I mean,
How much does getting bailed out of jail when your neighbors call me into the cops for breaking an entry cost?
no,
That's
Sarah.
the better question.
I think you made the right choice.
Okay, good. Because
worry
you wouldn't
about
want
that.
to deal with that shit. Then I would have to call
No.
somebody else. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Okay, good.
okay.
Good. I don't like to be wasteful, you know.
Moving on, we have a guest. I'm super excited
yay.
about it. I'm going to introduce. Okay, let me just say,
Okay.
interviews aren't for everyone. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, I don't have an interest in that." You have to listen to this interview because
Oh, good.
it's great. Jessica Ragg is the author of a book called "Girl on the Block: A True Story of Coming of Age Behind the Counter." She's a butcher.
Oh, cool.
It's so cool, and
Okay.
she describes what it's like to work as a butcher when you're a woman, which you can imagine.
Yeah.
But then
Oh
she
my
also
God.
describes like the meat industry, what, she recommends. She describes recipes. It's like delish. You want to eat real bad. But here's what's great about the interview. Her answers were so unexpected. I asked her like if she could write a love letter to any piece of meat, what would it be? And I cannot believe her answer. You will die.
Oh my God, this is already making me laugh and I love it.
You have to listen.
Oh, I will.
Another thing that you have to do is buy BioClarity, please, because it is the best skincare routine money can buy, and it's not a lot of money, which is the best part.
Oh, right.
Because I use the Clear Skin routine because I have problematic skin, and this clears it, calms it. It's full of nutrients. It's a 3-step process that you can do, but they have an essentials one for like normal people. But they're 100% vegan, cruelty-free, paraben-free, sulfate-free. But it works, and there's 100% risk-free money-back guarantee. So what is the risk, people? If it's risk-free, the answer is there is no risk. Get healthier, more radiant skin by going to BioClarity.com. And right now for our listeners, you save 40% on skincare routines plus an additional 15% off everything on their website. It's an incredible deal. You need to enter our code, though, Brain Candy, at checkout. Go to BioClarity.com and get 40% off skincare routines plus an additional 15% off everything on their website when you use our code Brain Candy at checkout. Okay, Jessica
Yes.
Ragg, read her book, Girl on the Block. So good. Really
great
fun
name.
read. Great. She's English.
No, I mean like Girl on the Block.
Yeah, no, it is. I was just saying,
Also
like,
her name. Yeah.
she's,
Her name's nice too.
yes, she is delightful. And I just think that people will really enjoy both the interview and the books. I hope they do. And let me know if you choose to read it. I want to hear what you think. And welcome to the show, Jessica. And by the way, this was like weeks in the making because we had so many issues. So I'm so glad to be speaking with you.
Me too. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. Congratulations on Girl on the Block. How the heck are you feeling?
Really strange. It still hasn't sunk in yet, which is so weird because we're only like, what are we now? Like 2 and a bit weeks away from publication. So it's still so strange.
It's happening.
I know, it's so real. I got the first hardback copy yesterday through the post.
What is that like when you look at that book?
You know what? It's so strange because it's like 2 years of your life or a year and a half or whatever going into this. And it's kind of like between these two pieces of cardboard is like my life.
Yeah.
And it's sort of weird. And it's not quite sunk in properly just yet, but it feels amazing.
Well, the book's amazing and you should be really proud because what an accomplishment. And it's just so fun to read. I know our listeners are going to love it. And I'm thinking about, you talk about your career, but you also share some personal stuff. Were you feeling confident about doing that, or does it make you feel vulnerable?
When I was writing it, it was really strange. So all of the stuff about the meat industry in there, like the essays about, dry aging and slaughter and the history of butchery, that came so naturally to me. And I found it so easy to write. But when it came to writing about my life and the things that have happened, I kind of was at a point where I was a bit feeling like, who cares? Mm-hmm. And it really it was a long period of time before I got over that. And it's not so much a vulnerability, it's more of, it feels a bit of a relief, I guess. Because, there is a lot of personal stuff in there and it kind of is quite open. And I don't know what my mum's going to think when she reads it, but...
Hasn't she read it yet?
No, so she's really excited because it's going to come out in the UK as well. So she wants her whole thing is, I want to go into a bookshop and I want to pick it up off a shelf and she wants to do it that way. But I don't know how long she's going to wait. So I'm like, Mom, I've got copies here. You can just read it. You don't need to buy it.
That's hilarious.
She's adamant.
Moms are funny like that. That's really cool, though. What do you think about the folks that you've worked with over the years? Do you think that they'll respond well to what you've written?
You know what? I'm nervous. I mean, it's quite honest, and some might see it as an expose, but I just see it as, this is the reality of the meat industry, and a lot of things that did happen in the meat industry over the years when I worked there were just a sign of the times, and genuinely a lot of the things that happened were a result of the fact that the meat industry is in quite a difficult place at the moment. Just like even the early years with, the sexual harassment and things like that came from a point of a man in a position who he'd had a butcher shop years and years ago and he was in charge of that butcher shop and he had to fit into this weird environment where he worked for other people. So he had a lot of difficulty, I guess, struggling with power. And I'm assuming that that's a lot where all that came from and all the problems came from there. So I think I'm not so much nervous. I'm just more kind of like, let's just get it out in the open.
Yeah,
it does open a discussion as well.
Yeah, because what's in the book and you've worked really hard on it for so long, but I'm sure there's a feeling of like, let's just have everybody know what it is and move on with our lives and they can react however they want.
Exactly.
Well, why do you think it is that the meat industry is so gendered? And part of what makes your book so interesting, of course, is that you're looking at it through the lens of a woman, which is unusual. But do you think it's just logistic, like it involves a lot of physicality to do the work, or why do you think women aren't drawn to it?
I think part of it is definitely the physicality. Yeah. I also think that because we are just so stuck in our ways as a society as a whole, that we've, it's always been seen as a male job. Mm-hmm. So to kind of, even to go into that environment, even as a customer, if you went into a butcher shop, I used to go in, even as a butcher, I used to go in somebody else's shop to buy some meat or something when I was on holiday. And it's an intimidating environment. It can be very intimidating as a woman to walk into a room full of men who, have worked in their craft for so long. And I do think as well that people don't really see any opportunity for growth and careers there either. Mm-hmm. A lot of people really enjoy just being behind the counter and being in a customer-facing role and cutting up meat every day. But some people, nowadays, young people, they want more than just that. And and it's kind of, they don't see any progression or opportunity for progression. So I think that that's probably the main reason. And it's difficult because obviously it is a dirty job. It's very long hours. It's super physical. And it's just not attractive, I don't think. It's not attractive enough for women.
You talk about in the book how people are always asking you what made you go into, or why did you want to be a butcher? And you say, well, I really didn't. But I wonder, why did you stay in the meat industry? Because you kind of stumbled into it, but then you kind of fell in love, yeah?
Yeah, that's completely right. So I was just 16. I needed some money. I needed a Saturday job. All my friends had jobs. They all had cars, and I was so jealous. So I got this job that just happened to be on the butcher's counter, and it just felt like, to me personally, as a girl who's always struggled with kind of self-image and the way that she looks and the way that she feels, and being a teenager who's obsessed with clothes and makeup and music, going into an environment where you pulled back your hair, you put it under a hairnet, you wore loose clothes, you piled it over the top, you couldn't have nail varnish on, you couldn't really wear too much makeup. It stripped away everything that I was paranoid about. And that, to start with, was really helpful. But then as soon as you realise that it is one big biology lesson, it was just so fascinating, especially at that age, because kind of 16, you're coming out of childhood, you're going into adulthood, but you've still got that fascination of a child that, you know, this is a big biology lesson. And I just loved it so much. I really did. I didn't expect to love it at all. And I don't think my family expected me to love it either. And even now we talk about, you know, would you ever imagine as a 16-year-old that you'd written a book about it? And I think if you'd told me back then, I would have been like, shut up, no way. That's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. But it's just, everything happens for a reason. But the reason I stayed is probably because I did love it so much and saw space for a young woman, or for women especially, to have a voice in the industry.
Well, your love for the industry does come through, and it made me freaking hungry too. You do such a great job of describing the foods and the meals that you cooked. And I was just like, dang, I need some of that. But you also had to deal with, of course, some harassment and some unsavory elements of the industry. Do you feel like it's changing at all, or is it sort of just like old school?
You know what, it is. I think it depends where you are. I think it's, unfortunately, old school butchery and you know, the local butcher shop is dying out, especially in the UK. And I think in America as well. And food is becoming, you know, food is a huge trend nowadays. People spend money on home cooking now instead of going out for a fancy meal. And there's definitely been a turn towards cooking at home rather than, or going down to your butcher shop and getting a steak rather than kind of popping out to a steak restaurant. And I think that with that has come in this new wave of people who are really enthusiastic about where their food comes from. And part of that is the meat industry and its butchery. And unfortunately, you've got all of these new people coming in, which is obviously great. But for the older people and the older generations, it does mean that they're getting pushed out a little bit. And I think that there's only so much longer. And as well, in the book, I talk a lot about kind of this old school butcher mentality. And what I mean by that is that there's these men who, when I started, they'd be anywhere from 40 upwards, and they've worked in this industry for their whole lives. And it's all they've known, and they've had this knowledge passed down to them from generation to generation. So sometimes there can be a little bit of unsavory kind of feeling towards younger people. And I mean, old school butchery it's amazing. These people have learned so much, and it's in their livelihood, and they've made it their livelihood. But there has to kind of be a bit of a give to new, young blood in the, forgive the pun.
Right.
There just has to be a bit of give. And I think that it's so exciting because the way that we eat food now really influences butchery. So in the UK, there's been this huge, you know, Texas barbecue trend that's come over in the last 15 years. Yeah, oh my God, it's unbelievable. The amount of people who, you know, smoke their meat, like pork butt, brisket, all that kind of thing. Yeah. That's really influenced, especially in the UK, the way that we even cut a carcass.
That is hilarious.
We'll cut it American style now. It's just absolutely mad. Like, a lot of butchers, some don't, but you get requests for pork butts and things like that, and you have to cut it, you know, a certain way. So it's really exciting because food obviously being such a big trend is really influencing. It goes down the supply chain really and influences the way that we eat, the way that we shop, the way that we farm, and the way that we breed animals as well. So it's fascinating, the whole thing.
Isn't it funny how when I think of trends, I always think of fashion and beauty and stuff like that. I certainly don't think about meat, but you must be privy to the whims of consumers in terms of what's exciting at that moment. It's so odd that that would change over time.
I know, it's absolutely crazy. So just kind of as an example, in the UK, we used to, a brisket that you'd smoke on a barbecue, we used to take all the fat off of that and we used to roll it up and we used to pot roast it. And that was a really popular way of cooking brisket for a long, long time. And then in comes this Texas barbecue trend where people are smoking it with all the fat on, and it's delicious and it's soft and it's beautiful and the flavors are amazing. That's completely changed the way that we even cut it. So we leave all the fat on, we basically sell it whole. And it's directly, it kind of affects the way that butchers have to buy meat as well.
Right.
Because so I mean, if something is super popular, say, I don't know, like so onglet steaks, a hanger steak, I think is what it's called in America.
Yeah.
There's only 2 of those per animal, but it's so popular and they're so small. So you only get like 400 grams max per animal. And they're so small, but because they're so in demand, you know, people have to kind of buy them in boxes just to keep up with the consumer demand because it's so popular now. So it's really changed the way that we buy meat and the way that we farm meat. And yeah, it's like a domino effect, I guess.
What is a piece of meat, and I just thought of this, so who knows if this is a thing, that you would say is underrated, where you think it's yummy, but people don't tend to buy it?
Cheeks.
Cheeks?
Cheeks, honestly. So pig's cheeks and ox cheeks, like cow cheek, beef cheek, they are so good. So basically, with cows, they spend 8 hours a day chewing. So it's the toughest muscle on the whole body, really, apart from the organs.
Oh my God.
But if you cook it for like 4 hours, it's the tastiest, most flavoursome meat in the world.
Me.
Oh my, no, really, I mean it. And it's quite popular in this kind of food trendy restaurant world now as well. And pig's cheeks too. Pig's cheeks are really good. And it's just a little nugget of meat inside of the actual cheek itself. But if you cook it the right way, it's so good. I really mean it. You should try.
I am. I'm so excited. I'm so glad I asked. Oh my gosh. Isn't it strange too how I was interested in your book, how you were talking about this weird trend where everyone got excited about Black Angus in the US when it really kind of doesn't mean much besides that it's a popular cow, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the main thing that got everyone excited about Angus beef, and the one of the main reasons that we think Angus beef is superior, obviously because in America you've got an incredible breeding stock of Angus. I can't remember the exact statistic, but it's something like 78% of breeding stock in America is from Angus cattle, which is huge. But also I think in the late 90s, fast food chains started to market Angus as the best beef. And subliminally now, a lot of people associate Angus with being the best because of what they've heard in advertising too. But it doesn't always mean that it's the most popular is the best.
Right.
Unfortunately, it does mean that a lot of other heritage breeds and rare breeds that were founded in America and that have had herds in America for hundreds of years are dying out because there isn't a lot of demand, unfortunately, so farmers don't breed them. And again, it's this knock-on effect, like buying meat of people's kind of appetite for a certain kind of beef.
Right, and people just make stuff up and then we just go with it.
Yeah,
makes no
absolutely
sense.
Mad. I'm sure, like a super foodie, if somebody told you, like heart is quite a trend at the minute as well.
Really?
Like using offals, like nose to tail butchery, so using every part of the animal, which is super important because it's about appreciating every single bit. If you're going to, like putting it bluntly, if you're going to kill an animal for food, you should be prepared to do it the right way.
Yeah.
But if somebody, I guess if you're a super big foodie, if somebody told you to eat heart because it's good and it's tasty, then a lot of people probably would. So we do listen to advertisers and foodies as well about what we should be eating when it's not all always what it's cracked up to be.
Well, that's part of why I think your book is so helpful, in addition to being entertaining, is that you describe the process in a way that then educates the consumer and encourages us to be more mindful about the meat that we choose, et cetera. So I'm just so excited that people like you are leading the charge.
Oh, thank you so much. That's honestly so nice to hear. Thank you so much.
What do you think about...
It needs to be said.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we can be entertained and educated at the same time, which you're doing so wonderfully. What do you think about this strange, in my estimation, trend of, sustainable proteins, which is a great idea, but, it's kind of odd, things like crickets and stuff that folks are not chewing on. And I'm wondering, what do you think?
I think it does, unfortunately, all stem from the fact that the meat industry is so bad for the environment and that it's not very sustainable. And we eat too much meat. And I think, I would eat if somebody if it got to a point in the world where it was like there's no food left, we are really struggling to raise the food that you want to eat, you kind of have to eat this, then I guess I probably would. But there is a solution around that, and it's just being more sustainable when we farm and when we eat. We don't have to eat a burger every day. We don't have to eat chicken every day. We don't have to have meat in every meal. It's not a necessity at all. It's a luxury, if anything. And if we can kind of control the way that we farm, and especially now the environment, kind of stuff with the environment's really like kicking off at the moment, because everyone's started to realize that the meat industry, just how much it churns out in terms of greenhouse gases and emissions. It's quite scary, but if we could just get it under control, and if people could understand that you don't have to eat meat every day, then I don't think we'd end up having to.
I like your philosophy better. That sounds more appealing to me.
It does, doesn't it? It does not. Oh no! I went to a sleepover fun. Like they did this weird sleepover for adults at the Natural History Museum in London, and it's like you brought a sleeping bag and you slept in the main hall, which was really cool. But one of the activities was like eating grubs.
Oh wow!
And it was just not pleasant.
You didn't go for it.
I wasn't like, maybe I'll be a bug butcher instead.
What did it taste like?
Salty, really salty.
All right.
Quite like I guess I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to. I guess when you get a chip that's kind of got a bit too much air in it and it's got like an air bubble in it.
Yeah.
And you bite into it and there's like nothing there. It's kind of like that.
Oh,
but
man.
Salty.
That's not, no. I'll just let you keep eating those. I'm not going to go for that. Do you feel like you have changed on account of your career, or do you feel like the same person that started at 16?
I don't eat as much meat as I used to for a start.
How funny. That's crazy.
I know. There was a point in my career when I was kind of eating meat every day because I was working at a butcher's where you could get it for free. And I would just take it home every day and have it and be like, look at all this fantastic stuff I can cook. Yeah. But I just felt so unhealthy. We're not supposed to eat it every day. It's just a couple of days a week is fine. And it was red meat as well, which was even worse. So I don't eat it as much as I did before. And in some ways I do feel like the same person because I know that there's so much still to learn.
Yeah.
We're at a point now where we need to hear people's voices and we need to learn how to move forward and to listen to vegans and to listen to vegetarians and to listen to pescatarians and to have all these voices come together and to figure out a way that we can be sustainable. And there's so much to learn, but it's in a different way now. I'm not kind of stood in front of a carcass wondering how to cut it down. I'm now stood in front of a whole industry wondering how we're going to proceed and make it into the future and still hold our jobs and still keep the knowledge. So it's a different kind of wonder, but it's still me wondering what's next.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is sort of the next stage of your career, is writing and sharing and educating people about the industry, or do you think this was just an exception in your path?
I would love that. I think that's really, so I basically kind of took a few months off from butchery just to figure out what's going on with the book and to get things in order. And I think now I want to get back into the meat industry, but I want it to be in an educational way and to talk to people about why it's not right that we're going on as we are and why we shouldn't be having these intensive farms. And even if one person changed their eating habits from reading the book, I'd be happy. But I just really I'd much prefer to just change people's minds, really.
Yeah.
And I feel like it is the next step.
Yeah, and you're doing such a wonderful job. If you had to write a love letter to a piece of meat, which piece would you choose?
Chicken wings. 100%.
For real? You're kidding me.
I know. I mean it. I feel like everyone's expecting like, oh, a really juicy,
right,
lovely ribeye. No, oh my God, a chicken wing. There is nothing better.
What are you talking about?
I know it sounds really crazy, but it's my absolute favorite,
wow.
And I don't think I'll ever find anything that will beat it.
Jessica, I did not see that coming. I'm blown away.
Maybe I should have put that in the blurb.
Right. And P.S. I love chicken wings. Okay. We ask everybody one last question. If you have a car, what do you keep in the trunk of your car or the boot in your case?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I can't really say knives, my butcher's knives, because that would be strange. I would keep in there. I mean, I probably
Wait,
would,
are they in there?
No. So, London, you don't really drive in London, so I don't have a car. But there was times I was taking the knives on the tube to go from, like, place to place, like shop to shop, which was just the worst idea. I would keep in there. A copy of my book, probably, because it's the thing I'm most proud of. And also, this is going to sound really boring, but I keep a really good moisturizer in there for my hands because they get so dry when I'm cutting meat. That's
really?
the one thing. Honestly, like, my boyfriend always jokes about how dry my hands are.
Oh my God.
It's the worst image, I know, but, like, I would always keep a really good hand moisturizer.
Wait a minute. Why does it dry your hands out?
It's because you're always, meat's wet, so you're always kind of putting your hands in wet stuff, and then they're drying, and then you're washing your hands with antibac, and it's not very moisturizing, and it dries your hands out really badly.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty mad. And also probably my work boots too, steel toe.
Oh my God, so
That's
cute.
trendy.
I love your trunk. This is so good.
And then,
what else?
Lastly, I would absolutely just put a change of clothes in there because that was my favorite thing to do at the end of the day, was like changing into my actual clothes to go out for a few drinks, thinking of meat. But always a change of clothes.
When I just worked in a steakhouse, I would leave and I would say I had steak head because you start to smell like the products. But do you feel like that you stink when you leave?
So I was once, the worst time it ever was. So over Christmas, you work crazy hours, and I spent the whole day wrapping little mini sausages in pieces of bacon for pigs and blankets, and there were like thousands and thousands. And I got on the train, on the tube back, and these two girls got on opposite me, and they were like probably still about 6 feet away from me, and one of them was like,
"Oh my God,
can you?"
Oh my God. Like, no.
And it was me, and I had to get off. I was so embarrassed. I got off at the next stop.
Wait, did you fess up and admit it?
No, I just, as soon as they were like, okay, next stop, Brixton, I was like, okay, I'm off.
God, that is a riot. Oh, that makes me so happy. Well, you're doing the Lord's work because your food sounds amazing. I love that you included recipes as well. I'm going to try some. And I just think you did an amazing job. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely talking to you.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.